Welcome back to the channel. It is Chris, and today I am continuing my series of killing the SKX. Today, as you can see, I have the SKX on a baking tray, and I have a little grate on there so that it's elevated. I'm going to be putting it in the oven at 350 degrees, and I have that set at 350, just above 350, with the convection function on. So I'll be putting it in for about a half hour at 350. So previously I've boiled the SKX and I've frozen the SKX, so I figured this would be a really good heat test. So we're either going to do a half hour to an hour. We'll see how long we decide at the end. If the watch is still working at some point, we'll maybe press forward. But right now I'm going to put it in for a half hour. That's what I plan on. So, let me just open it up. And, oops, sliding around there. Okay. And that's it. So we'll come back in a half hour. Okay, so it has been a half hour. I'm just going to check in. Ooh, that does not look good. So that is close this up. Yeah. So the watch is not working, and it looks like the inner chapter ring has shrunk down because of the heat, and I believe has essentially stop the hands from working. Maybe the movement is still working, and it also looks like the actual paint on the dial has been compromised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool off, and then we'll come back to it. I'll take it apart and see exactly what happened. So I took the back off and I immediately noticed a pretty terrible smell. I think it is the actual chapter ring which melted during this process. So you can see here the chapter ring is basically shrunken down, and it has grabbed onto the actual hands of the watch, and I thought that the dial had discolored a little bit. I think that is from the actual chapter ring, when it shrunk, sort of dragged across the dial and created some discoloration on the glass. So I'm going to take off the crown off, and I'm going to then see what actually happened and see if the actual movement is still working. Right now it is stuck, and I believe that the movement is not working, so I'm going to go with that right now. So I believe I have actually killed the SKX, but so I think that the movement is not working because I believe the rotor is not moving. As you can see, it won't move. I'll try and get it to move with some tweezers and see what happened, but I guess I have killed the SKX, but we will see in just a moment. So I took it apart, and basically what happened is the chapter ring and the case, the movement holder, which is made of plastic, both of those things shrunk, and essentially it attached itself to the movement, and the watch would not work. So I took it apart, I took out all the plastic parts, and now it is working again. I just need to replace the movement holder and the chapter ring. I'll probably clean up the hands a little bit, and it survived. It doesn't look great. Obviously, it's all dented up from the drop test that I recently did, and baking it did not really go as planned, I guess. A lot of the lume baked off of the dial, but other than that, the watch is still working, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, it doesn't look as good, but like I said, I'll fix it up, and that's another test. Anyway, please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful and much appreciated. Thank you for logging on. So I've received a few requests to test the accuracy of the SKX after all these tests that I've done, and I just recently had this taken apart and put back together. I did it myself because I baked it and the chapter ring basically shrunk down to nothing and a bunch of parts. the movement ring shrunk and melted as well. So on checking the accuracy, I used this app that someone had suggested in the comments. It's called 2Watch, and basically this app synchronizes with the US Navy atomic clock, and then you time your watch against that. And so you can see here, I timed the Seiko twice, and we're at negative 4.5 seconds per day, which is not that bad. And I think I'll keep on testing it, and I'll update you guys to see how it's working. Thanks.